graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
I apologize in advance if I am out of line here, but are you in gay porn?
Guilty as charged.
Are you fucking with me?
I thought you recognized me at first, that's why.
Oh, okay, I get it.
You're not my demographic, so I'm not insulted.
Not really. Who's your demographic?
Do you love pussy?
I do.
Then not you.
Oh, okay. Brandon is the star of such adult fare as, what was that one called again?
You better shut your mouth or I'm gonna fuck it.
That's right. Surprised I forgot that.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And it's been 3 weeks since our last podcast. We start out every goddamn show apologizing for the long terms it's taken in between. And I was wondering why my levels were so low. It's because I'm not facing the microphone. I'm actually looking at my computer screen. He doesn't want to look
deep into my beautiful blue eyes.
Because we have to. It's like having a schlong in between us, and we both have to work it equally. And so.
Well, we had tissues in the middle of us. Do you want tissues again? There you go.
And so, yeah. So I didn't, I realized, because I think in the past couple episodes, you've been significantly louder than me, but it's like because I'm too busy looking at the screen and not at the microphone. But.
Well, I like looking at you, so it's fine for me.
I'm glad I shaved. So,
about time.
Moving on up to the east side. I finally got a piece of the pie.
You got laid?
No, not that pie. I wish. But, no, what happened is for those who've been following the podcast because I didn't even have a job when I started this podcast, but I've been at my old store, and I can call it my old store now. I've been in my old store for a little over 2 years, almost 2.5 years. After about a year, well over a year of asking to leave, getting punched in the face, promised stores.
He did literally get punched in the face.
Literally punched in the face. So go back a few episodes and you can hear that story. I finally, as we're recording this, we have to kind of get this podcast in before it's time I have to go to work.
Gotta get it in.
It's because, right now, thank God, we actually are, right now, we're recording this, and it is nighttime. I'm going to be working an overnight shift, but, that's only for this week. I mean, I've been working overnight shifts at this store. They've been kind of testing me out, seeing how things are going. I guess I'm a good fit there. I'm not a lazy prick. I actually do work when I go to work to actually work instead of fucking, chatting on my phone or whatever the case may be. Or jerking it. Well, I mean, that's why I crank one out before I go to work, so I don't have to. I can go about 8 hours without jerking off. So that being said, I'm moving on up to the east side, literally, because the store that I was working at, it was in the west side of Rochester. Now I'm on the east side of Rochester, in a very metropolitan area. Mm-hmm. And now that being said, where I'm working it's very close to a lot of bars. It's in an area that's known. It's the more artsy part of Rochester, I would consider. There's more tattoo parlors in that area.
That would be the big bar scene,
bar area. Yeah. So that being said, now of course, when you work in one store and you work in the hood, and this doesn't get racial for a minute, so let me just I'm just gonna put it out. The views of Chris Cologne don't necessarily, but I mean, it's one of those deals where okay, it'd be one thing if I'm saying this without any kind of if I was someone who didn't work in a black area, if I was someone who didn't live in a black area, and I said this, I'd be racist, as in I'm pulling it out of my ass. This is legitimate stuff. So like I said, I'm moving to a store that's more in the artsy part of the city. And as some of my regular customers, I tell them, oh, you're not going to see me anymore because I'm going to this store in the artsier part of the city. Oh, that's where all the gays are. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you'll see. I mean, I don't know why I put a southern accent on it.
Wait, Chris, you can get laid now.
Well, I can finally find a man that will fulfill my needs and fulfill my butthole. But no, but that being said, it's
wait, tissue.
It's so funny how I from 3 different people telling them that I'm going to that store, oh, that's the store where you're going to deal with a lot of gay customers, and it's And of course, like I said, it's in a very metropolitan part of Rochester. And it just blows my mind that, like, when you're in the ghetto, you know, you're already in a marginalized part of society.
Right.
And those people are like, oh, be careful, you're going to the gay part of town. And you know, and I'm like,
it's like, wait. Excuse me.
So you're discriminated against. How could you discriminate against somebody else?
It's like, wait. I got punched in the face here. People have stolen things here.
Constant shoplifting in my old store.
Yeah,
constant
exactly.
shoplifting, punched in the face. I mean, I've had. The only saving grace that store has is that it's next door to a hospital, and all the people who are on Medicaid, you know, Medicaid pays for their medication. Right. So that's what's keeping the store afloat. The government substance. But let's. I don't want to get into the whole like deep dark. You know, like I don't want to depress everyone. This is, you know, we're having a good time. Like I said, I'm moving on up. I'm so happy. I'm actually transferring to a better store. That being said, I'm also having car problems this week. I'm having car troubles. Mm-hmm. So my car is literally under 18 inches of snow right now. And that's because I haven't driven it. In the past week. But, you know, I'm having issues with my car, and hopefully, knock on wood, I don't want to knock on wood because that goes right through the microphone. But, hopefully my car will be up and running by Friday. But, you know, for all the shit that we talked the last podcast about missing the snowpocalypse, you know, we're making up for lost time.
See, it's your fucking fault.
I jinxed this. I so fucking jinxed this. Because
18 to 22 inches.
18 to 22 inches.
In one fucking day.
The hard way.
Oh, God, that's what she said.
And let me tell you, thank God, like with my schedule, thank God I had the day off. Thank God my daughter had the day off. You know, my car, like I said, my car is out of commission right now. So, you know, we just stood it. We just fucking holed up in the house. You know, we're watching Pee Wee Herman on DVD.
I got an interesting story about yesterday. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, because
so I got home. It started snowing around, I would say 12:30, and there was snow on the ground. Came out around 5:30. There was more snow on the ground, but whatever. It's Rochester weather. It's the same. Mm-hmm. I get into Henrietta, and it's like it's raining snow. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be fucking bad. Mm-hmm. And so it was stuck at my first job, which I work at mall. I don't really care. It's not like somebody's gonna be like, you are gonna get fired. No, I'm a normal employee. You can fire me all you want.
Yeah, and it's funny, and all the bitching that you have isn't really about working there.
Oh, no, I love my boss. I love that place. It's so fucking easy. Mm-hmm. But this moron, I swear to God, like I don't know what happened with my company, but we had this other landscaping company that obviously did the plowing in the winter. Uh-huh. And what happened was they, as these stupid corporations do, they get a contract with a company, and then that company does your plowing or it contracts out to a plow. Well, first of all, I get there, and it's not plowed. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, there wasn't that much snow, so I wasn't...
It's only a place cars drive into all day, every day.
You know? I wasn't too, like, pissed off about it. But, I said to my boss, I was like, the plow hasn't been here. You know that, right? And, part of my job is I have to make sure around the pumps is clear. Mm-hmm. Well, come to find out, this guy comes about an hour and a half later, and he's doing the fucking drive. He's doing around the pumps and everything at like 50 to 80 miles an hour. And I'm just sitting there, I'm looking at my boss, and I'm like, are you looking at this shit? He comes out here, and he's like, wow, what a fucking moron. I'm like, yeah, he is a fucking moron. Mm-hmm. And this is the biggest problem with the moron. So he does the one entrance to the gas station, which is fine. The other entrance, which pretty much everybody comes through, he doesn't do. Chris, we had to push out like 3 or 4. We had to put not 3 or 4, like 5 to 10 cars yesterday because they got fucking stuck in that driveway.
Push.
And I had been there since 3, and the plow driver hadn't even been back yet.
Because it is this winter, we've been really, really lucky up to this point. There are people who pay contracts for snowplows at their homes who, up to this point, have been getting ripped off. Right. Like you're paying for a service, the guy didn't have to come out, and then all of a sudden we got hit. And everybody, these snowplow drivers, they have to be working at shifts. They, I'm pretty sure you have to have 2 or 3 drivers to keep that plow. And of course, you're spending a lot of money on gas.
Well, it depends on how many cars or how many homes you have, and if it's in the same area. If it's in the
this
same
guy,
area.
I'm just saying that guy who came. I mean, don't be wrong, he's an asshole, but he probably had like fucking.
Oh, this kid looked like he was 18 years old. Like he looked like he was fucking like a big douchebag. Mm. Like, and me and my boss are sitting there going, really? And they did, like, we had to send it literally we had to take pictures and send an email of how bad it was in our parking lot, just for somebody to come back. I literally had like mounds of at least like 8 to 10 inches in front of the two pumps because I had to clear it out. Because you got to make sure that kind of driveway in between the pump and the store is.
Yeah, and you got cars coming off the road. It's not like you could just stand there with a fucking
Right.
shovel.
Right.
Because people will fucking come and they'll clip you.
And
They don't give a
it's
fuck.
really funny because a lot of places got closed down, and our place was. I mean, I wouldn't say it was busy, but it was a lot busier than probably would have been that Tuesday.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't snowing with the kids being out, it probably would have been a lot busier. But normally a Tuesday when kids are in school, nothing.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a Tuesday. Now, this is like, I had made a Facebook post about this, but for those who don't follow my Facebook page, the snow started Monday night. And, of course, the news goes fucking crazy, bread and milk and all this other bullshit, and how to prepare and make sure that you drive 10 miles under the speed limit and you give yourself, 40 minutes extra time in case you... How about this? And it's funny, no one ever... keep your dumb ass at home. How about that? Don't be under... I mean, they do say, no one is...
In all fairness... sorry to interrupt you, but in all fairness, Monroe County didn't put that travel advisory in until 10 p.m.
Yeah, but it's also fucking common sense. Keep your fucking dumb ass at home. Okay, my old... Like I say, now it pleases me to say my old store. My old store. I mean, okay, we had a lot of foot traffic, but we also had a lot of people in cars that are coming out to buy beer.
Yeah.
To coming in to buy lottery tickets. Keep your dumb ass at home.
Right.
We had a woman on Sunday night. Was it Sunday night? Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, Saturday night. When we had snow Saturday night, if I'm not mistaken. She came in at the last minute to buy, she had a coupon that saved $1.50 on fucking Irish Spring soap. And if we close at at 9, she literally walked in the door at 8:55, knowing that the sale is over that week or whatever. And it's this woman, an older woman, in a big SUV. Okay, I'll give her that one little thing. Okay, you're driving a big giant SUV, so you hopefully, but you're risking your life, the lives of the people around you, thousands and thousands of dollars in property damage,
right,
or damage to your car or some other person's car or someone plowing into you to save $1.50 on fucking soap. Because literally, we didn't have a customer for the last 20 minutes, and she came in at the last minute. And she was racing that clock to be there at 8:55.
Oh, yeah.
And it's keep your dumbass at home. There is no reason. Yesterday, I was with my daughter. I had no reason to be outside. Don't go outside.
I think what happened yesterday, because those of you that don't watch the news or didn't see some of our tweets and everything, they actually had to shut down the middle part of 490 to clear it out because tractor trailer trucks had actually slid off the road and were tilted to the side. When I came home, I went under the 394 or the 590 490 interpass.
Uh-huh.
There was literally at that one entrance to go down 590 south. Mm-hmm. There was a truck that was on the side of the road tilted. I'm like, really, dude? I guess what happened yesterday, and I truly do think this is what happened yesterday, was everybody was going to work like they usually do. Yeah. But the problem is that none of these jobs decided to call off early or do the smart thing and go, guess what, stay home.
Yeah.
And, when meteorologist Glenn Johnson on 13 said last night we were mainly going to get snow, then they upped the total to 18 to over, that should have been a sign to be hey, shut some shit down.
Yeah.
Because the malls closed. They said, no, we're not going to open until noon. And then they're like, nope, sorry, we're not open at all.
Yeah.
I mean, because of that, I didn't have to work my other job last night. And I was...
Kids, if my daughter's school schedule is anything like the rest of the city, kids are off this week.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter's off this week.
Right.
You got a lot of people at home. This is, the quote-unquote winter break or whatever. But, if there was no reason to be outside, don't go outside. I got food in the house,
Well, I mean, this last weekend where it was under 0 degrees, and then even worse if the wind was going. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said to Kelsey, I'm like, fuck you, you're not going outside. I mean, I love you to death, and I know how you are, and you don't want to be cooped up in here, but it's too cold for the kids and us. Just stay inside.
We'll jog around the block. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, there was no reason for me to be outside yesterday, and I didn't go outside. The only reason I'm even out today is, one, I had to take my daughter home, so that's sort of a legal thing, saying, and
right.
We'll get to that. We'll get to cray chicks in just a moment. I had to take my daughter to her mom's house. I am technically on my way to work as soon as we're done recording this podcast.
You're welcome.
And then, also, I mean, okay, we're recording this podcast, which, okay, is not essential, but I wedged it in between getting my daughter to her mom's house and going to work,
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily an essential trip, but, shit, it's some sort of prior, I piggybacked one thing, I piggybacked one thing on top of another on top of another. If I'm going to be out, I'm going to be out. And so, but taking the buses, now that helps, bringing my daughter back home. It brings me into Cray Cray Chicks. And
Good transition.
Now,
or as we say on the Tsunami Faithful podcast, good starts with an S. I can't think of it.
Segue.
Segue, there we go.
So let's segue into Cray Cray Chicks. Once again, this segment
It's brought to you by Brawny. I don't know.
Brought to you by Brondo, the Thirst Mutilator.
Or Deadpool, whatever you want to do.
And, well, actually, real quick before I get to Cray Cray Chicks, our advertiser, one of our advertisers, Comics Etc., I follow them on Facebook, obviously, and he basically put a post. He said, if anyone dares come into the store and bitch about like their comics not being there this week, he goes, I will tie you to the back of my van and drag you down Main Street, because he said that UPS, which usually delivers to them,
right,
said we're not going to deliver. If you'd like, you can come to the UPS store and pick it. Come to the UPS depot, which is down in Henrietta, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
So, he said that he personally went himself to go get whatever boxes he can carry to fill his van, from UPS. Mind you, he paid for UPS. You know what I'm saying? He paid for the service,
right.
and he's taking out his own money, time, and energy, risking his fucking life and limb to go get fucking comic books. So a shout out to Andy Battaglia of Comics Etc. And like I said, that makes me happy to help advertise them on our podcast.
Comics Etc. Just come to the Tsunami Faithful podcast. I will advertise for you.
And
Fuck Chris Cologne. I will advertise.
Spread the love. Okay. So, Cray Cray Chicks. Okay, once again, and this was sort of inspired by Chris Mounts, a loyal listener. Thanks for listening, Chris.
I can talk a little bit about something, too. So.
And, okay, so here's my deal. Now, of course, those who have been listening to the podcast, my last episode, we were talking about how my daughter was said to have a fever, and how when she came here, she was fine. Okay, well, it turns out my daughter had an ear infection. That's what it was. That's where this mysterious
which
fever,
is common.
Which is what this this mysterious fever came from. Which in my mind, I'm trying to do a good job as a father, and I'm like, okay, how could she have a fever and be sick when she's not hot and she's also running around playing, having a good time? So the mom starts fucking just inundating me with fucking texts. Just, and you should have taken her to the emergency room, and this and that. And in my mind, I'm saying, why am I going to take my kid to the emergency room if I don't feel that there's a reason to bring her to the emergency room?
Yeah, when she left my house, she was fine.
And she was fine. So, then, all of a sudden, my Facebook page started getting flooded with messages. Now, the messages that were being sent by a gentleman by the name of T.J. Falzone. Now, I could use the initials. Those aren't really his initials, but T.J. Falzone is my baby mama's half brother. Now, mind you, he sent me a friend request 4 months ago, 5 months ago, whatever, which I ignored because I don't like him. I'd rather have strangers.
It's a good question. It's a good idea.
For a guy that has fucking 2 strangers on podcast, I'd rather have strangers on my Facebook page than this guy. You know what I'm saying? People I've never met. People that I'm probably never going to meet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, so I said no. So, then all of a sudden, after I have this argument with my baby mama, now all of a sudden this Facebook page starts spamming the shit out of my page. Responding to every post and all types of fucking craziness. Which, quite frankly, no guy would ever do. So, I do a little bit of homework. Because one of the reasons I don't like this kid is because he's in and out of jail all the time.
Right.
I look him up. Holy shit, he's been in jail since August of last year. He's been in Monroe County Jail since August of last year. So, it didn't take a fucking rocket, and especially with what the comments were saying, it didn't take a rocket scientist to put 2 and 2 together that my baby mama had set up this fake account, which I never accepted the friend request, but I always had my Facebook page was always public.
Right.
Then all of a sudden blowing up my Facebook page, which means that she's been stalking my page for months now, at least 5 months. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember, like, you know, when I got that first friend request. So, you know, once again, baby mama's an endless fountain of fucking cray chick activity, setting up a fake account under your brother's name to fucking stalk me, and because mind you, on occasion there was responses to posts. I would have the occasional response from TJ Falzone, which once again those aren't his initials. That is his last name, but those aren't his, you know, TJ or, you know, I think it's probably JT actually. But this is the fucking craziness I have to deal with. So if I ever fucking go disappearing, if my body ever disappears, could she just be a person of fucking interest? You know, in case something fucking happens to me. Because if this is the shit I gotta fucking deal with, you know, all types of fucking nonsense was said on my page. But I guess you had a cray chick story or no? Or
Oh,
you
yeah,
want to get into it?
yeah. So I don't usually talk about my ex, and I don't like to because, you know, if God forbid ever she heard she heard a podcast and her name was on it or whatever, who knows if she would use it against me. But one of the things that sorry, one of the things that my baby's mother does. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we agreed on was when when I was claiming my son, she didn't have a job. Mm-hmm. So I was claiming my son, and I said to her, I would give you I'll give you a certain number. I'm not going to say what that number is. Mm-hmm. You know, for closing that, if I claim him. Mm-hmm. And that's fine, you know, whatever, hey. Well, come to find out, you know, last year I didn't claim him, which actually screwed me over. I ended up owing taxes, which that was a whole shit fest there.
Uh-huh.
She asked me today, she's like, so you giving me money towards your clothes and everything? Because I said to her I was going to pick up my taxes, which, stupid mistake on my part.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you get like, I mean, in a typical New York State and federal, for that matter, you pretty much are getting $1,000 to $2,000 for each kid, especially if you're claiming head of household. So I'm like, you have all this money for just my kid. Why are you not using it to get him stuff? I don't make as much money as you do, and she gets paid a lot more than I do. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but it's like you are making more money. You just made a shitload of money off of your 2 kids, because I guess until the kid's 4, you can't make a certain amount of money or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that one is, but... And I'm sitting there going, so let me get this straight. You, excuse me, you have this money, but you want me to give you more money on top of the child support I give you every week? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, you're a bad parent. You hangs up on me. And then she's texting me saying, like, I'm going to take you to court and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like that's just crazy. Like, what in what universe do you think that that's right to do that to somebody that's actually doing what he's supposed to as a parent?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like I'm claiming my kid and not giving her money. I'm not claiming my kid. What money am I getting out of this? Nothing.
Yeah.
I barely got a tax return because of the new healthcare law. If you don't have healthcare, the penalty was actually cheaper than what I had to pay because of the healthcare on taxes. Mm. Chris, I'm just sitting there going, I just don't understand. Like how is it like allowed for these women to do this kind of stuff? Like, I almost want to have a police officer next to me at all times, so that way, if she's crazy and he sees it, I'll take care of it. Ring, we'll pick her up for harassment. Seriously, like you literally need to have somebody of authority next to you, reading every single thing that happens. Because if you don't, they don't believe you.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit.
You know what it is? It's the pendulum, and once again, I don't want to get too deep into like depressing shit, but it's the pendulum swinging the other direction. It's years and years of guys before us that were fucking deadbeat dads.
Oh, of course.
And would disappear or whatever, and then all of a sudden, now guys who are actually trying to do the fucking job get, because I had that same shit also with the tax return, where the mom would like say, oh, I want to file taxes. Yeah, it's called income tax. You have to have an income. You know what I'm saying? Welfare isn't fucking income. You know what I'm saying? It's money that, I'm getting money back because I put money into the system. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Because I paid and the government took a fucking half of my check, so they're letting me get some of it back. You know what I'm saying? You can't be on welfare and call welfare fucking income. And yeah, okay, technically I guess it is income. It's money that you're using to live with. But, you didn't put money into the system. You're doing nothing but taking money out of the system. So this is the first year, and mind you, in a couple of months I would have known my baby mama for 10 years. In a couple of months it'll be. And this is the first time I've known her to have a job. I mean, yeah, okay, it's fast food and everything like that. So this year I said, okay, you know what? I throw my hands up in fucking defeat. You want to claim her? Claim the kid.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because welcome to being an adult. Now you actually have a job, and and now she's talking about like, oh, we're gonna buy a house, and I'm like, slow down.
Yeah. No. Mine said that the other day too, and I'm looking at her like, but you had problems paying your bills, so why? I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, wait. So you have problems paying your bills at the one place, but now you're gonna go and try to get a house?
Get a mortgage? Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, I'm just sitting there going, I scratched my head for the rest of that night going, you're getting a house? When I owned my home, I had a home in the ghetto, and I was still working 2 overtimes a week, meaning 4 pay period, which I wasn't getting a dime from my fucking wife at the time because my wife was paying to go to culinary school, so that's where all her money went. You know what I'm saying? And I'm working 2 overtimes a week, and I was in a job that was a career. That's when I worked for the fucking state. And so I'm like, okay. I was like, don't worry about me, I'm dying over here.
Good luck on your house or whatever, but.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they do have these things, I was watching the news the other day, there's a lot of what they call zombie homes here in Rochester, where it's like homes that have just been,
Yeah, you can pick those, I think you can, like, if the bank still owns it, you can pick those up for very cheap, because they want to get rid of them, but.
And it's just, I mean, and I thought about it, but it's like, I don't want to have a house in the fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
disrepair.
Yeah, house disrepair.
I mean, I would have to, I would
area.
be like, I'd have to go to the bank and be like, look, I'm interested in your house, but here's the caveat. I'm gonna go in and look at it, and if it looks like shit, I ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, because
sometimes they have what's called short sales.
I just don't want the roof to fucking cave in on.
Right,
you know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
Like, I don't care if it looks bad.
I mean, sometimes they have like short sales where they're like, okay, we're gonna sell the house and then whatever, And if you've seen any of these like flip house shows, like I think my favorite is Flip or Flop. That one, like it's you see them go into this house and it's just like fucking trash. Like the outside, you're like, oh my god, this is such a beautiful house. You go inside, and it's like fucking trash. Like they go in the backyard, there's like junk all over the backyard. It's like, what? Wait. So the front of the house looks good, but this in here looks like shit. Okay.
Yeah, because the person probably selling the house probably fucking they'll just fix up. So with that being said, we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. Pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
Okay, so usually this is the part of the show where we do the nerdy news, but we still have other topics, other things. I hope the first part of the show didn't fucking like depress you or whatever the case may be. But life sucks, and that's how we get it out of our chest, because if I don't fucking do it here, then I'm going to climb a fucking clock tower and start killing people. That being said, part of the reason we didn't record as soon as I'd like to is I'm working on it, and hopefully she's listening, and hopefully the first half of the show didn't scare her off. But I'm looking to get Esther Koo, comedian Esther Koo, as a guest on our show. She was on Last Comic Standing. I think I know her because she was also part of the Jack and Triumph show. And I've sent her an email, and she said, I asked her if she would be able to guest on the podcast. She said sure. I kind of sent her like a list of stuff, the things we want to talk about. But I said, hopefully we don't even have to stick to that list. We could just kind of just talk about anything.
Right.
So, much like the other guests of this show, are people I've harassed until they finally gave in and said they'll be a guest on the show. So, she's funny, she's super sexy, and I still have on this stupid wizard hat. I'm sorry. So hopefully she'll come on the show. Maybe her schedule's just kind of crazy or whatever. Sometimes it's not that people don't want to do the show. It's just they're so busy and they don't have time to remember like some Joe Blow fucking email. So, I'm gonna send her a couple of emails and see if I can set it up for us to have her as a guest on our show. But in the past couple of weeks, things we've missed the Super Bowl, which I watched and fell asleep watching because I was bored as fuck, because I don't watch sports, and even worse, people who like football said it was a boring game. So, my favorite thing right now is as we're recording this, I guess there's some sort of there's these stories of Peyton Manning coming out now saying how there was this one reporter, the chair squeaked. That wasn't me. Yes. I didn't fart. No, that was okay. So I guess Paul's chair squeaked again. An elephant ran under there. So no, it was this not reporter, excuse me, what they call those, athletic surgeons, but athletic doctors or whatever, someone who knows how to take care of athletes. And
she knows how to take care of them.
And so one of my favorite stories, and of course I'm not laughing, I'm just laughing at just how ridiculous, because this is the shit guys do to each other. I guess she was working on his foot or something like that, and as she poked her head back up or whatever, he put his balls in her face and his asshole in her face or whatever. So Peyton Manning's been doing those nationwide commercials, which people find so. I was saying I would like to hear smell my balls and taste my taint. So, I really didn't give a fuck. Okay, Peyton Manning says he's going to retire. He's talking about he wants to drink Budweiser. But then I heard somewhere through the grapevine that he actually owns distributors or something like that.
He might. I'm sure he's got some smart investments.
So even though he probably wasn't directly paid by Budweiser to say, I'm going to drink, because during a lot of interviews he kept saying, I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser or whatever. I think somewhere down the road, I think he has a money manager, and the money that he has in other companies or whatever, he owns distributors and shit like that. So, he's a billionaire who's going to retire, so fuck him, Oscars are right around the corner. The Grammys I didn't watch. I didn't care to watch.
I was working.
I caught the end, just so many fucking people dying this year, and the funny thing, the show's been on for
that are continuing to die.
Yeah, it was 3 hours into the show, and I flipped over to CBS. I said, oh, and it's still on. And I just happened to catch the part where they had, the tributes in memoriam or whatever, I really don't care to hear Lady Gaga fucking do her tribute to David Bowie, So, and then could we stop with this Pitbull? What does Pitbull do? That the rapper, he's not a rapper. He's not particularly a rapper.
No.
He's not a musician. He doesn't play a fucking instrument. He's not a singer.
He plays the flute. No.
He plays the skin flute. No, why the fuck does this guy have a career? Now, once again, it was the end of the show because I typically tune in around that time because they give Stephen Colbert. So, because I ain't fucking watching Jimmy Fallon, I'll tell you that shit. But, and they're like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's Pitbull and Joe Perry and Robin Thicke, and apparently they had a song together. I know he does a song with Robin Thicke, and I don't know if Joe Perry was there because Joe Perry was part of the I know he was playing with Joe Perry played earlier that night with Johnny Depp. I kept hearing on the radio. But what does Pitbull do? He doesn't do anything. He's not a singer. He's not a rapper. is the closest thing to what he does. But even then, what he does isn't rapping. Somehow he sold his fucking soul to the devil. He's gonna die at 69, like fucking David Bowie or something like that, because I don't understand how Pitbull is, and then, I mean, cause the music, kind of appeals to people that are into hip hop. He's Hispanic, so it kind of appeals to the Latin audience. Right. You know what I'm saying? The people who just like dance music, I guess it's dance music, but, I guess it's like, oh, here we have this good dance music. We kind of need someone talking over it. So, it's just, it blows my mind. Cause at least like when Robin Thicke's on the stage, Robin Thicke is the singer. Joe Perry is the fucking, well, in this particular song, Joe Perry is the guitarist. Fucking, I don't know what the fucking, could we just stop the madness with Pitbull? The same, like, a couple episodes as they stop the madness, what's her face? Amy Poehler, not Amy Poehler, who's the girl that always hangs out with Amy Poehler? Tina Fey. Could we stop with the bullshit like Tina Fey's hot? Cause then, after the Super Bowl, talking about the Colbert Report, they had Tina Fey and what's her face? The girl that's going to play Harley Quinn. Why am I drawing a blank on her name? The girl that's going to play Harley Quinn and Tina Fey interviewed her by Stephen Colbert right after the Super Bowl. And I'm like, that's not fair to put those two. That's not fair to put those two sit next to each other, because she, and I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on the girl that's going to play Harley Quinn. But, I mean, holy shit. Let me see. What else? Valentine's Day. I didn't have a Valentine's Day. You would, you already had a Valentine. I can't ask you to be my Valentine, Paul. But,
you'd have to fight Darrell for that.
I mean, I guess my daughter was my Valentine. Like, I bought her candy and
you know what I did?
Frozen
she's like,
Pez dispensers or whatever.
Females are fun. Mine is like, oh, we don't need to buy each other stuff. We love each other, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there going, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm 31 years old. I know what that means. I want you to buy me something.
A bunch of horseshit.
So, her and the kids went to church. I went out. Got roses, got a card, put them there, and she was just like, oh, that's so, I don't like you right now because you got stuff, but that's fine. I'm like, yeah, okay, you love it.
You're making me look bad.
And she's like, can we go out to dinner? I'm like, no, we don't have money.
I mean, to go out on Valentine's night, like, just fucking stab me in the eye. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
like there's no, even if you had reservations, which obviously at this point you didn't, but even if you had reservations, then you gotta go fucking schlep through a fucking crowd and deal with all the other fucking posers, and I had made a joke on Facebook. I said, Saturday nights for the girlfriend, Sunday nights for the wife. Some guys need both nights. You know what I'm saying? And I can only imagine people that were probably juggling like their side pieces that weekend, like, oh, I'll be with you on Friday, but I can't go out Sunday because Sunday I gotta go to work, I gotta go to work on Monday, and Sunday they're with their wife. But, another Valentine's Day come and gone. It's just another fucking, people send you text messages like, Happy Valentine's Day. I text them like Happy Candy Day.
I put up on Twitter. I had a picture of, I was like, Happy Valentine's Day, boys and girls. And the picture I put up was, where Bender's sitting there in a sexy pose. He's like, hey, sexy mama, want to kill all humans? I'm like, cause, you gotta play off of that shit. You gotta be good. So.
And let me tell you, okay, working that day. Now, on Valentine's Day was actually the first day at my new store. The day before Valentine's Day, I'm at my old store. And once again, this part of the store is usually the nerdy news, but, I had so much shit I want to talk about. People buying Valentine's Day candy with food stamps. This is a thing. I can't make this shit up because candy is candy. Candy is a food. You can buy food with food stamps. And and I don't know if this is done on purpose or not. Or maybe the store that I was working at does this on, where, okay, like when you're a kid and they have those little kitty Valentines that say like this year would be like Frozen and the Avengers. You get 24 little cards and you give them to all the kids in your class. So what they do is it'll be a little card that has the Avengers on it that says, the Avengers wish you happy Valentine's Day. But the card attached to the card is a lollipop. And so since there's lollipops in with the cards, you can buy that with food stamps. There are boxes of fucking candy, a little heart-shaped box of Hershey Kisses. It has a bear glued to the bear's back is glued to the fucking box. You can buy that with food stamps. It has fucking 4 Hershey Kisses inside.
It's bullshit.
And you can buy it with food stamps. I can't tell you how many big, giant boxes I sold. Now, mind you think, oh, a big, giant box. Yeah, of course, yeah, you'll pay $50 for a box of candy because you're not paying for it. Exactly. I am. You know what I'm saying? We are. People who have jobs are. So much candy. And then, once again, bringing it back to the Super Bowl, the week before Valentine's Day, Super Bowl Sunday or the 2 weeks before or whatever, working that day, working in a fucking bad area. How many fucking people came in buying chips and dip and bags of ice, because ice is water, technically. You could buy with food stamps. It blows my fucking mind, especially in this weather. Who the fuck is buying bags of ice in this weather?
Right.
Put your shit outside. You're good. And all day long. And a bag of chips in a store that's not a store known to sell food, and you sell chips. A fucking bag of chips like $4, $5.
Right, yeah.
And if I'm paying out of pocket, I'm not gonna get the fucking brand name. I'm getting fucking,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting fucking brand X Pathmark chips, you know what I'm saying? Like, in a white bag with no picture on it, you know what I'm saying? And of course, everybody's buying all the brand name, the Frito-Lays and and I have nothing against Frito-Lay. I got nothing against Doritos. I do have something against fucking people buying it with food stamps. Food stamps are supposed to be for feeding your hungry children, when you're, because it's hard to make ends meet. It's not to be fucking to cater your fucking Super Bowl party,
right?
And there are people came in that day, between Super Bowl Sunday and Valentine's Day. Just a ridiculous amount of, and once again, this isn't something I'm making up. This isn't like I'm saying, oh, people are doing it. This is shit I witnessed firsthand.
Right.
And every transaction, I'm fucking fuming at the register, now I'm not even a cashier, but, I handle a lot of transactions, but every time I'm at the register, I'm ringing somebody out and it's a fucking $50 purchase of snacks, not food, snacks, paying with food stamps. I want to fucking put my fist through a fucking window.
Well, now you're at a different store, so you don't have to deal with
so this is, once again, if food stamps are there to feed hungry children because parents can't make ends meet, not to buy snacks.
Right.
Let me see, what else? Okay, well, before we get to like the kind of nerdy news, and this is kind of nerdy, I wanted to talk about Daniel Bryan's retirement.
Yes.
And that in general, when I say that, because honestly, I don't like Daniel Bryan, I don't care for him, I don't give a fuck if he's retiring or not. There's no such thing as retiring in fucking wrestling. Right. Fucking Terry Funk is legally dead, and he's still fucking wrestling.
Okay. Time out. First of all, I think Daniel Bryan, he did an interview the other day, him and his wife, and the best thing that he said, somebody asked him, was wrestling real? He says, it's not real, and it is real. It's not real in the sense that, we go out there, there's a story, somebody's gonna win. We already know that. But when somebody slams me on the mat, somebody slams me on the mat, and we do get injured.
And when I jump from a 10-foot post in the sky, do a backflip, and land on a dude that's 16 feet under, the post, if you look at like someone who jumps off the top belt, that to the floor, all the way to the floor is like a 15-foot, 16-foot drop or something like that. So he's jumping in the air from from already an elevated point, flipping in the air and landing on someone on a fucking mat.
It is their fault in some respect. But, I know you don't like Daniel Bryan, but if I could say my piece here.
No, I'm just saying, in general, I don't like Daniel Bryan. I'm not saying I wish pain and hurt for him, but go on, I'm sorry.
But, for those people that follow wrestling, if you remember it's 2016, about 5 years back, Edge, who was a popular wrestler too, he just came out of WrestleMania in, I think it was March or April, and that next, like, Raw or SmackDown, he came out, he's they had a big announcement, blah, 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 blah. He comes out, he's talking, and he's like, yeah, I gotta retire. Everybody's like, the fuck? And the reason why he had to retire was Edge, and I'll get to the you'll get the comparison when I describe this. And if you go on YouTube, you can find this. Edge had this metal plate put in his back because he broke his back. And they essentially said that this is you're on borrowed time. We don't know how long you're going to be able to do it. Could be a year, could be 8 years, could be 10 years, we don't know. He came out of that WrestleMania and, he was shaking and shit, and, he was in an excruciating amount of pain. And, the WWE went, okay, you need to go get tests. You need to go get tests. You need to make sure you're okay. Because if you're not okay...
Because we can't have you dying in front of
20 million
people.
I mean, yeah, but they said to him, and he even thanked the WWE. He's like, if they hadn't encouraged me to go get these tests, I wouldn't be sitting here retiring, and I could have put my life on the line. And I think that the WWE has actually done a good thing here. Now, the reason I talk about that is because fast forward to now, where with Daniel Bryan, what happened was, and you don't probably follow any of the wrestling rumors, but one of the things they were saying is Daniel Bryan had all these outside tests. He was bound and determined to come back and wrestle. And the WWE said, I guess, it was about like now it's like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks ago. They said, okay, fine. Go see this one doctor. Have him check your brain. If he says that you're fine, we'll have the doctor look over you, we'll clear you. And And that's the gist of what I think happened. But he went and he saw this doctor, and they did an extensive brain scan, and they had actually found that the concussions that he had was starting to affect his brain. So that's when he's like, "Fuck this, I'm done. I want to go get my wife pregnant." He said he was going to get his wife pregnant and have family. You know,
if I had his wife, I'd want to get her pregnant.
Oh yeah, fuck.
As one of the Bella twins, right?
Oh god, I would fuck that really. So I'd fuck that so many times you don't even know. But seriously,
my dick would be going.
I love my wife, by the way. But you know, it goes to show you that, and I put this up on Facebook, and I think I put this on Twitter after what Daniel Bryan said. It goes to show you that while wrestling, in an extent, is fake, you have to respect what these wrestlers do on a daily basis. It's so bad right now, Chris. There's like 5 to 10 wrestlers that are out on injuries because of wrestling. You gotta understand, this is not your fucking like run of the mill like fake.
Yeah, this isn't the 80s.
Oh, I hit you.
You had two guys that are out of shape, mashing each other in the ring and stuff like that. I mean, I understand these guys doing flips and everything like that. But my thing is that, like, nobody really retires in wrestling. I mean, shit, there's a great documentary called Beyond the Mat, and I brought in Terry Funk. Terry Funk, like, at his daughter's wedding, like, he makes an announcement, like, that's it, I'm finally retiring, or whatever. And this is a documentary that went over the course of a couple of years. And I guess when he said it with a tear in his eye, and I'm pretty sure he meant it. But then it goes 4 months later, or whatever, and he's wrestling again. These guys never, wrestle, especially when you get to the level of a Daniel Bryan, who, even though I'm not a fan of his, I give him the respect and props that he has, and the fans love him for a reason, because he's so driven and determined. They need to stop, maybe not use the word retirement, because even The Rock, who's making fucking millions of dollars a movie, comes back and wrestles every now and then. No one ever retires from wrestling. But that being said, wrestling, did you fart? No, wrestling, there are no happy endings in wrestling. There isn't one fucking person that has, like, a happy ending story.
Using The Rock, I'd have to say
The Rock is the closest thing to a fucking happy ending
that you're gonna get, and that's a pretty good fucking happy ending.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and not like a happy ending like when you go to a massage parlor.
No. I'm sorry. This guy has done.
Like, Randy Savage, fucking heart attack while driving his car. Fucking, even like before the show, we were talking about Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart. Okay, he himself. Now, mind you, what happened? Okay, we just found out recently, fucking diagnosed with cancer. Yeah. And then, from what I understand, one of the nicest guys in the world. But also, let's not forget that he also lost his fucking brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though.
Well, speaking of falling from so high up, I mean, if you remember, his brother was it Blue?
Wasn't it Red Robin or Blue Robin or Blue Jay or something? He
was
some bird. It was like Blue Bird.
But he was getting lowered from the ceiling. He accidentally hit the release and then he fell down.
He fell. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole thing, is that even if you take someone like Bret the Hitman Hart, okay, maybe he hasn't had something terrifically horrible happen to him through wrestling, but even then, he lost his brother. Right. I'm okay. Maybe not. Okay, Hulk Hogan is doing okay, but his son was in a fucking car accident, and he got killed somebody,
and he was caught doing racial things.
The racial thing, and I mean, of course, there are people that are fans, and like I said, I bring up Terry Funk because Terry Funk could walk into any fucking arena on any night and say, "I want to wrestle tonight," right. And no promoter is going to say no. No promoter is going to go, "Oh, but Terry, what about your concussions? What about?" And when you watch this, like I said, I keep referencing it because it's a great documentary. Beyond the Mat, like, you see the doctor with Terry Funk in the office, right. and he shows him an X-ray of his knees, and he goes, "You have no cartilage whatsoever. Your knee is bone on bone. Every bit of cartilage is gone." But that doesn't stop them, especially say by the time they get to the point where they're household names, that we know the name Daniel Bryan, we know the name Terry Funk, they're not going to give it up. They're going to maybe wrestle once a year or something like that, or retirement isn't the right word they should use, or maybe it should be because people are like, "Oh, he's retiring." He's not fucking retiring. He's taking a medical break. But
I think like for Daniel Bryan, he's going to be able to do a lot more stuff, and I foresee him getting a lot of sponsors. I foresee him being a very good advocate for concussions, and I also see him being, somebody out there is going to pick him up if the WWE decides that they're not going to use him. Yeah. I personally think that if they're going to continue with Tough Enough, they should use him. They should also try to use him in some kind of like either like announcing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always that. There's always, a lot of wrestlers have, lived way beyond, had careers way beyond their actual wrestling years.
Look at Taz. Taz made the best decision he ever did in his life. What he did is he stopped wrestling and he started doing announcing. Mm-hmm. One of the best announcers we've ever had in wrestling. Mm-hmm. I give that man the biggest props of all. Look at the King, Jerry the King Lawler.
Exactly, yeah.
One of the best announcers we've ever had. Same thing with JR. It took WWE a long fucking time to get rid of JR because people were like, no, you're not getting rid of JR. Fuck you. You're not getting rid of him.
He had a stroke and he was gone for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that, I mean, like I said, but there's no happy endings in wrestling. It's a sad fact.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we're getting ready to wrap this up, that's what she said. I mean, we're once again the snowpocalypse and car issues have kept me from seeing Deadpool. I want to go see Deadpool, and I will probably eventually.
What I will say about Deadpool, I haven't seen it, but
if there are any spoilers, I'm glad no one has really spoiled anything.
It's not so much a spoiler, but from what I heard, and people are bouncing off of Ryan Reynolds being so funny and everything. And don't get me wrong, he's a funny guy, but the one thing that my reviewer did is he said in his review he gave it a 7 out of 10. The reason he gave it a 7 out of 10 was because. And you know what? After hearing how much the budget is, it makes sense. Uh-huh. So that's why I agree with his review. There was no real good soundtrack to it, and the music was kind of off. But then you listen to this interview that Ryan did the other day on Google, and which was a great interview, by the way. If you guys haven't caught it, go on YouTube and find it. Mm-hmm. But he says he's like the movie we only had a budget of $48 million. I'm like, $48 million. Okay, so these other Marvel movies have upwards of $250 million and probably more. Yeah. And this one has fucking $48 million. It just blew that out of the water. And apparently the CGI in this, he said the guy that we used was a genius. He legitimately used our budget efficiently so that way we could squeeze out all the money we could.
The guy that made it, first is the guy who did when we had that little test footage that quote unquote got leaked. He was the guy behind that. He did all. I don't want to say he did all the work, but he was the head person of that video. The guy's in his 40s. He's been trying real hard to fucking get some sort of. And I don't know if you remember this is kind of, I'm stealing this from Kevin Smith's podcast. When they were promoting Batman Arkham Knight for the PS4. There was a commercial where it was Bruce Wayne's face as a little kid. And then you see, the flashes of, his parents getting shot right next to him. You don't see his parents getting shot. You just see the flashes. And you see, this little kid's face go from, happy to fucking terrified. Then you see, the little kid, getting into fucking school fights where he has a black eye. And then, and then you see him, training in the fucking... And once again, it doesn't stay straight dead onto his face where, he's getting, he gets, kicked and you see, his head hit the mat or something like that. And that company's behind that. They're a 3D art rendering company that somehow lucked out with Deadpool. Not somehow. I mean, the guy's been trying real hard. I don't want to put away anything he said, but the guy even described it himself as he goes, "This was my last Hail Mary. This is my Hail Mary pass." Doing the Deadpool movie where. If I understand correctly, they already greenlit Part 2 before Part 1 even came out.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now that budget's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, too. Ryan Reynolds produced that. So guess what? Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Mm-hmm. His daughter's set for life.
Yeah, and of course, there's a lot of... this shoots a lot of new blood into the Fox Marvel franchise, and, this may, whatever crossovers they can get with X-Men.
Honestly, this is what I'm going to say. And I'm going to say this, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. I think they should sell back the rights to Fantastic Four, get it into Marvel, get rid of it, and just concentrate on Wolverine, concentrate on Deadpool, concentrate on X-Men. You guys know how to do those movies. You do them right. Mm-hmm. Just do the movies that you know that you can do. Mm-hmm. And if think about this. Wolverine this last Wolverine movie might be rated R.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That blows my mind right there. Holy shit, that could be rated R.
Let him go with the bang that he deserves.
Yeah. And you know what? One other thing I would like to see, and I I haven't heard anything of Wolverine being in this movie.
But there's if it was, there's a lot of spoilers, but there's so many arrows pointing in that direction that Wolverine, maybe not in part one.
I know Hugh Jackman said that the last thing he's going to do is Wolverine. I want him to be in a Deadpool movie. I don't care. Like, look,
technically Deadpool was in Wolverine's movie, but in the Wolverine
But I think they should do like a good rated R movie where it's just him and fucking Deadpool fighting. That would be just awesome. And then they go after somebody. And then that's it. Then you can get rid of Hugh Jackman. I'm fine. Whatever. I think that would work. Mm-hmm. And I think Fox should try to convince Hugh Jackman as much as they can. Yeah. You know?
This is I've been waiting for this movie so much, and then the fucking Snowpocalypse is fucking me up. Okay, so also just real quick, if you haven't been watching the Flash TV show, you're missing out. Check it out. Flash is so fucking good. I would have to say, because now in this series, without spoiling it too much, they've gone into quote unquote Earth 2, where they brought in the Jay Garrick Flash. Like this is the Barry Allen Flash. They actually brought in like the original Jay Garrick Flash, and in the last episode alone, and this isn't really spoiling anything, Jay Garrick saves more people than Superman did in fucking in Man of Steel. You know what I'm saying? As we gear up for Batman v Superman. But that being said, if you haven't been watching The Flash, check it out. And even I think upcoming, they're doing a fucking King Shark episode. You know, which they had King Shark like in like a glimpse of King Shark in like 2 different episodes. Now they're giving him his own one coming. I think it's next week. But okay, so let's get down to all the brass tacks. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net and you get links to everything show related. You could find our links to our iTunes page and go back and listen to well over 3 years worth of episodes. If you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, or iPod, you can find us on Stitcher. On the Stitcher app, that's STITCHER, the Stitcher app. For Android devices, it's how I listen to podcasts. While you're in a Wi-Fi spot, you can download all your podcasts. What I like to do is I hit the option for listen later. You listen later, so when you're not in a Wi-Fi spot, you're not killing your battery, you're not killing your data, and you can listen to tons and tons of podcasts. You know, Kevin Smith's Smodcast, Chris Hardwick's Nerdist, you know, NPR, Adam Carolla, you know, This American Life, and of course, Paul's other baby, the Tanami Faithful podcast. They're all available on the Stitcher app. Please follow us on Facebook. It takes 2 seconds to like and share on Facebook. It's funny, you know, I've been putting out old episodes on Facebook, and we've been getting a lot of love from South America. You know, and it's funny, like the older episodes, obviously the ones like with the more raunchier names or the raunchier icons, like show art, are the ones that tend to, you know, and it's like a nice young audience. It's like people like in their late teens, early 20s. But a lot of love from South America, a lot of love from the West Coast, and thank you for everyone who are listening and downloading episodes. So you can, and once again, of course, we want your money. We need your money. But if you can't do that, at least share us and like us on Facebook. You know, that would be great. Also, it would be a great favor to me is if you can find us on YouTube, because we're not on YouTube / Two Strangers One Podcast, but I need more subscribers to get that build up. So if you can go and just search YouTube for Two Strangers One Podcast, you can find all the shows that I'm taking down off the iTunes, only because we're running out of server space, have been moved over to YouTube. Hopefully by the time we renew this year, I love Podomatic, but they're just a little too pricey, and we'll switch over to SoundCloud. But that's for all the geek nerds. We're still going to be bringing you the great fucking funny show that you just listened to. But what you can do is if you want, and it actually helps the show, listen to old episodes on YouTube, because that actually goes, those videos are monetized, so you can actually, that also helps the show, or sharing those videos on your Facebook page or Twitter or any other social media that you have. We're on Twitter at Stranger Podcast. And Paul did a Periscope video of me tonight. And also, I forgot to mention that while you're on YouTube, check out my Stranger vlogs. I'm releasing 30 and 31 sometime in the next couple days, but, you know, I've done like 29 of these so far. Stranger vlogs, they're all over the place. Some of them are funny, some of them are serious, some of them are me doing, you know, fucking political speeches. So I check them out. I try to make them now more like 8-9 minutes now, just so they're not too long. But check out my Stranger vlog, VLOG, on YouTube. And of course, if you want to write us, you can write us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. Like one of our more faithful listeners, Oscar, who fell off the fucking face of the earth after Peru got hit with an earthquake. But you can write to us, and I acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Paul Pascrillo. You can find me on Instagram, instagram.com/Paul Pascrillo. And you can also find me, of course, on ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. Ask me questions, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. And that's about it. Oh, and those of you that are going to MagFest, I don't know if this will be out by Friday or this weekend, but if you're going to MagFest, Kadeshville will be there, and you heard it here first, he will have CDs available for you to purchase. So you might want to go and get those, because there's only going to be a limited supply. So.
And also check out geekyinc.com. That's GeekeInc.com. That's Paul's baby. So check it out. Reviews and videos and all types of wonderful things on geekyinc.com. And we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace.
Bye. You should be fapping like I do all the time.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double
it?
Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
Look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
Yeah, it
man.
is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration? Maybe a butthole shot? No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.